That's interesting. That's right. I think, oh, hold on. I gotta fix this. Wait a minute. You're exactly right. It was that. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, there we go. Let me do this, and then we are. Why does it keep doing that? No. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. Um, I'm going to just monitor that. Um, let's see. That's very interesting. All right, we're going to be live in just a moment. Un momento. Good afternoon, everybody. Yep. We are standing by. Yes, there I am. All right. And we're going to begin momentarily. Yeah, the state is just in a total. There's Tammy. Folks, this weather. I think this is the last day of the big freeze. That's my understanding. And there we go. Folks, at 106, excuse me, on this very chilly Wednesday, as this cold, my goodness, I think this is the last, I was going to say last gasp. I think it is. And I believe, listen, I know it sounds ridiculous to say, well, then it's going to warm up, but anything is better than the freezing temperatures that we've had. So, and folks, you can tell when the Chosen One has done Court TV because number one, I'm up early and I did Court TV this morning. And then number two, you're already kind of ready to roll for the day. So we are off assignment and ready to go. And I think I'm going to be able to fill in some details, not at this exact moment, but we will. But the real news is here. And right now we are live on AM 1380, 99.9 FM. Now it is true. Can I listen at the website, depetro.com? That is a true statement. Yes, you can. And also, right now, we are live on X, in YouTube, and also, obviously, our Facebook page. As our platforms, folks, as our platforms continue to grow, this portion of the program, now you see me mention the website, depetro.com. And that is, by the way, that's a great way to reach me and get a hold of me. You can also see that's really where we have links to all of our social media. And excuse me. And then we also post a lot of the exclusive video that we have, but that's where you can see our link for Facebook. You can see our link for TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X. And then obviously you can listen to the radio show there as well. So it serves a lot of different purposes. Don't forget DePietro.com, which is brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Remember what we say, lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge. Now they also have the market at Coesit where you can get prepared foods and you can also get delicious chicken soup. They have gourmet items as well. It's a happening. The Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue in West Warwick. Now, folks, this cold freeze, as I'm talking about, obviously very cold today. The last few days have been since the stormy weekend that we had, but it is, we're going to get temperatures, believe it or not, above freezing and over 40 degrees. And it's so important to remain, you want both your home and business heated properly. Remember, Propane Plus. If you would like to have Propane Plus delivery, call them 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359. Propane Plus. But the easiest thing you can do is log on to their website, which is propaneplus.com. Residential or commercial, you just type in your zip code, boom, there they are, always there for you. Propane Plus, the Johnson family. Folks, they are dependable. 3 generations, it's Propane Plus, residential or commercial, Propane Plus. Again, call them 401-885-4209 or in Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. So a lot of news on this Wednesday, and I'm going to touch on. I did want to mention now, as we speak, that's interesting. Okay, I appreciate that. Possible scene of someone sending that. There could be a possible scene that we may check out this afternoon. We never know, folks. Try to then figure out if it's in fact a scene. Obviously, the weather can be very difficult regarding with just as far as being out and about. But as I was mentioning, and it's one of those things. We can't deny, in fact, that there's weather related. As far as like right now, I'm looking at, depending on where you are, basically feels like 20 degrees. And then it'd be dropping down. But wait, then it starts to climb. Actually, it's starting on Friday when it'll start to be above freezing and then the temperatures into the 40s. Now, I want to touch on, I am aware, and we're going to get more details. U.S. Attorney announces charges gang linked. Yes, very, very aware of that. And predominantly, not only, it's mostly Massachusetts, but that gang, by the way, the gang that the FBI U.S. Attorney that they're referring to with this big raid, I think it was now 2 years ago that they actually raided a house in Coventry, West Warwick line. And this gang that the FBI, and they're announcing huge investigation, a bunch of gang members arrested. Where this Trinteros figures. Federal prosecutors in Massachusetts announced charges, nearly 24 leaders, members, associates of the Trinteros gang. The U.S. Attorney's Office said their criminal organization linked to murders, shootings, other violent crimes in Massachusetts, and 22 people facing charges. The gang is responsible for over 10 killings. According to court documents, chapters of them were identified in Lawrence, Mass., Lynn, Massachusetts, Boston, and Haverhill. Trinteros members of these cities undertook efforts dominated by intimidating rival gangs, control over certain neighborhoods. And I'm telling you, they definitely had a presence. There's also responsible for chapters in New Hampshire and Maine. Now, in this story, they're not mentioning a Rhode Island connection, but I'm telling you that just a couple of years ago, there were some pretty organized home invasions in the Providence area And then I know because I covered. We were the only ones that were there, but they also went after. There was some activity with them. In this, it was a house, and it's on I believe it's Pulaski Boulevard. That it starts in West Warwick, and then it leads into Coventry. I don't remember. I think it was West Warwick was where it was, where the house was situated, is what I mean. But and then it just kind of faded from there. But it was a big time raid. So, folks, what you're getting is, look at the uptick in activity because of these dangerous criminals that continue to be in our area. And prior to this, so much of this depends on whether or not they can get ICE, whether or not ICE can get cooperation for all they want is a lot of times these criminals to be held. And as you if you've been following, know that so many times they're then released before ICE can get there. So now, folks, we are right now, I don't think at 114 on this Wednesday. I don't believe that. Now, it's a good lane for us, so to speak, because I don't believe our local media has been encompassing, number one, the amount of illegals that are in our area, and number two, the division that is going on, that because of our elected officials, notice I don't say leaders, because of our elected officials, it puts our local police in a very awkward situation. As I have told you, when you have Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee, when you have whether it's the governor of the state or you have a mayor, but let's just talk about the governor. When you have Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee telling the Rhode Island State Police that, if anyone cooperates with ICE, you might as well turn in your badge and your gun. No trooper, from order of the governor is to in any way enable or cooperate with ICE. That puts our Rhode Island State Police in a very awkward situation when you have different mayors that tell their police forces. And you got to remember, a police department, it's a paramilitary organization, operation, and it is a chain of command. And when you have a police chief, taking orders from a mayor or a colonel taking an order from the governor, that's it. All flows down. They're used to implementing the orders they're given, and so therefore, when you have a mayor say to a police chief, if you have any dealings with ICE, I am your first phone call, and I want to remind you, as they try to do, I want to remind you that your officers are not immigration officers. They're not to work with ICE. They're not to cooperate with ICE. It is right now, I need to see, and I'm not seeing it. There needs to be the Rhode Island Republican Party to me right now. And I know there is a battle for the leadership. Now, we had on someone that's running, and I will reach out to the chairman, Joe Powers, because I don't hear from the Rhode Island State House and the party. There's not enough of an effort to put pressure on the elected officials. Now, I hear from many of you, and people are, first of all, I just think it's a total waste of time of people that either call the White House or email the White House. It's just, it's not going anywhere. To me, that's a wasted gesture. When you have this morning, Rhode Island Congressman Gabe Amo on CNN telling a national audience, the people of Rhode Island are not on board with the Trump agenda. The people of Rhode Island do not support President Trump and his policies. Folks, you have an obligation. Forget about emailing Elon Musk. Forget about calling or emailing the White House. He has an office in Pawtucket. He represents Northern Rhode Island. Gabe Amo, he replaced Cicilline. He's your congressman. If you live in Woonsocket or Lincoln or Smithfield or Cumberland, pick up the blanking phone. If you're going to call anyone, call his office or email his office. These guys are going around. If you don't want him saying that, you need to contact him. Because right now, and I don't understand why there isn't more of a concerted effort, is what I'm trying to say, by Chairman Joe Powers, who I will reach out to have him on the program. He wants to remain the chairman. He's being endorsed by the Republicans at the state house for the most part. I don't hear it enough. It's just, in any time, I'll reach out to the chairman. Too many times when I've had communication with him, to me, he just comes off as an angry guy. And anytime I've communicated with him, he wants to remind me that it's a volunteer position and he doesn't have time and blah, blah, blah. I mean, when you took the job, it was volunteer. You've been in the job, and I get it that it's volunteer. But if that's always going to be the comeback, it's like a crutch. You can't fall on that. But what I'm telling you is there needs to be more of a concerted effort with Congressman Gabe Amo and Congressman Seth Magaziner, starting with them. And as far as, Governor McGree, these guys, folks, my point is Gabe Amo should not be going on national television. He and Magaziner, they're competing. Who's the face of the resistance against the Trump administration? But they represent you. They represent the state. And if you feel that they're not properly representing you, then you need to put pressure on them. Stop emailing Elon Musk. Stop email. Oh, look, there's a bunch of illegals at this housing project in Woonsocket, whatever. You're wasting time. That's not who they're going after. They're going after the worst first, as Tom Holman has said. But I don't see, in defense of many of you, I don't see anyone guiding that effort, is my point. So I thought the Rhode Island Republican Party would do that, but they haven't done it. And I don't think they are going to do it. I don't see an effort being led. I don't mind, guiding people in that direction. But these people giving me copies of emails they're sending to the White House, that's a waste of time. Oh, here's the email I sent to, DOJ and Department of Government Efficiency. They don't have time to read that. That's not what we're talking about. Folks, this portion of our program, because someone needs to hold them accountable. The Republican Party right now, to me, in the state, is giving them a free pass. And they've always been afraid of Gabe Amo. I mean, that part is clear. So when do the gloves come off? When do they start to go after them? When do they start to go after him and Magaziner? When does it begin? That's all I'm asking for, is just give me a heads up when you're going to start to put the pressure on them. Folks, this portion of our program on this Wednesday, and it's sponsored by Kids Club. Now remember, Kids Club on the Pike. Birthday parties, before and after school programs, preschool programs, Kids Club on the Pike. Now, birthday party venue. You can, available for the entire private rental of the entire facility, whether it's a youth team or whether it is a birthday party. Kids Club on the Pike, they could accommodate. But wait, there's more. They also do before and after school care. They can provide transportation, before and after care for school-age children, ages 5 through 12. They can do preschool, half and full day program for preschool ages 3 through 5. Kids Club on the Pike. Now, they're right on Plainfield Pike, off of 295. Easy to get to, centrally located. Kids Club on the Pike. You can call them at 401-443-5336. 401-443-5336. Kids Club on the Pike. Or on top of that, you can always look for them on Facebook. It's Kids Club on the Pike. Well, folks, good afternoon. Now, I also want to remind you, so many people have reached out and asked me about Where can they get the bulk ice? Boy, there's a lot of ice out there. And on top of that, the ice melt. You want to contact Watson Materials. That's where you can get bulk salt and ice melt available. Watson Materials. Contact Sean. You can call them at 401-885-0600, 401-885-0600, Watson Materials. Look for them on Facebook. They're located 1500 South County Trail, EG. It's Watson Materials. Folks, there's something I think really interesting that's happening right now. I think something really interesting that is going on right now. And if you caught, and that's one of the reasons why I, on the radio show, wanted to run part of the President Trump and Elon Musk, interview, the Elon Musk, President Trump interview with Sean Hannity is, folks, other states, I don't think this is being covered enough. Other states are, people are celebrating that they're trying to go after the waste. And I like how Donna Perry, who was great last hour, illustrated, look at what they're uncovering. 600, some of these, we're an agency. We're a nonprofit. And we have a budget of $600 million. Just because you get government grants, that's not a nonprofit. There's a lot of profit being made, much like, NPR. Those people are all well paid. If you think, Rhode Island Public Television, Channel 36, they're a nonprofit. They have over $100 million in the bank. They have plush offices. They have top equipment. All their executives are well paid. It's why are they getting government money? Why are they getting taxpayer money? By the way, Rhode Island Public Television, Channel 36, it's all anti-Trump stuff. Every panel, Lively Experiment. It's not Lively Experiment. It's the progressive platform is what it is. And once in a while, they'll have on someone. But by and large, their programming and television, it's all supporting the Democrat Party. Cicilline with the Rhode Island Foundation. How much government money are they getting? And then he gives out grants. It's such a fraud. Let them start a business. Let them operate. Channel 10, Channel 12, they don't get government money. Well, other than the Rhode Island Foundation, Cicilline, he does sponsor newsmakers on Channel 12. He's occasionally a guest with Tim White, Ted Nesi. I don't know. I'm not positive. I don't think he does anything with Channel 10, but he may. But my point is, this business of like NPR and all these grants they get, it's taxpayer money. It's our money. Let them put out a product without all these grants and government assistance. And they think they're above it. NPR is a big part of that. They think they're above commercial, whether it's radio or television. Let them go out and try to compete in that marketplace and see if their product remains that popular. But I don't get the sense that whether it's local media or representatives, I don't think they're capturing just how disgusted people are with the lack of representation we have right now. And all you're going to keep hearing about is how all of these valuable nonprofits are being thrown by, the cut in these government grants. Why do we have to keep giving grants to all of these companies? Governor McKee, we have, the green energy, the new wind economy, and blah, blah, blah. It's all a fraud. The only way they can stand on their own 2 feet is by it's like money laundering for all these grants that they're getting. So who's a businessman? Herb Chambers is going to sell his dealerships for $1.3 billion. From what I understand, self-made guy. That is a very competitive business. He's decided to cash out. No government, well, they did have the bailout, but for the most part, no. Listen, the auto industry, highly competitive, right? How about Elon Musk? That's how demented they are. Gabe Amo, the people of Rhode Island don't support Elon Musk. Elon Musk, he revolutionized. He's the one with the Tesla and creating and inventing vehicles that don't need gasoline. So you would think he'd be a hero, cutting out all this government waste, you'd think, but that's not what they're all about. And folks, so much of the Rhode Island economy, it's false. It's all, Justin Katz talks about this, and he's right. It's all predicated on these, quote, nonprofits, where you have the CEO of Crossroads, who makes over $300,000 a year, and all these people, oh, we're nonprofits. Well, then if you're really a nonprofit, well, that sounds like a lot of profit to me. We have a major problem right now with the healthcare system in the state, and you don't hear anyone even remotely addressing it. I was shocked. I saw that, I think it was Channel 12 said Speaker Joe Shekarchi, he doesn't even have a primary care physician. How many people listening or watching have gone through that? I see people post on social media. Does anyone know of someone taking new patients? Folks, this is no way this model that Governor Dan McKee is trying to run. It's a failed model. It doesn't work. And because they've chased out the private sector. So I just saw something that Ted Nesi had about the school construction. Like, Warwick is a joke. Warwick doesn't need 2 brand new high schools. That's a complete waste of money. $400 million to build 2 brand new high schools. The amount of people that are sending the children to public schools it's declining every year. The public schools have failed. The public schools, the Department of Education, it's all just money for the Democrat Party. That's all it is. And to his credit, Elon Musk, and to his credit, President Trump is letting Elon Musk and Department of Government Efficiency, they're going through it, and they're realizing what a scam it is. So now I saw Gary Sass. Well, there's 2 things I want to mention, and I want to stay on schedule though, folks. And I'm going to mention this is wildly important when it comes to all of this school construction, and I don't hear anyone covering it. But I want to remind you, this portion of the program, folks, is brought to you by Modern Mechanical. Now, listen, it's obviously very cold out, and we're not out of the woods just yet. But Modern Mechanical, they can do boiler repair and maintenance. They can do furnace repair and maintenance, heater repair and maintenance. Modern Mechanical. Call Richard and his crew. They're right on Jefferson Boulevard in Warwick at 401-441-5442. 401-441-5442. Modern Mechanical. If you're listening or watching right now on this Wednesday, and if you can hear my voice, and you're having a problem with your boiler or your furnace or heater, contact Richard at Modern Mechanical. 401-441-5442. Modern Mechanical, and I share their Facebook page. I'm glad that Ted Nesi, reporter of WPRI, this was what he put out. Wow, Rhode Island projected to have 15% fewer K through 12 students by 2041 as the population ages. A much steeper decrease projected in Rhode Island than in Massachusetts, which would be -4. In Connecticut would be -4. So Rhode Island, 15% fewer. Now, Gary Sass tweets on top of that. Yet Rhode Island is spending records amounts on school construction as enrollments decline. What is the strategic education plan that directs resources to the greatest needs? So, folks, I mean, the numbers are the numbers. Right now, why are they? What is all this school construction? Why is it every community, and North Kingstown, to their credit, rejected it? Why are all the communities going forward with this plan? Oh, we got to have new schools, or we need to build a new police station, or we need to build a new library. Well, when you chase away, here's the answer. And I don't hear anyone else talk about this, at least locally. But when you chase away the private sector, when you travel to other cities, hey, you don't have to go far. If you go to Boston right now, go to right along the Seaport District, you see new buildings going up, and it's private money. That's where Hasbro wants to go, by the way. But there's not just one, and there's new condos going up, and there's building going on. But especially anyone, if you during this winter season, if you travel to the Carolinas, or you travel to Florida, or Georgia, or if you were to go to Ohio, I talked to someone who does business in Ohio. As far as you can see, there are cranes in the sky. You go to Texas, huge amount. Folks, that's private sector. That's private money. That's someone that owns a company, and they say, we're going to build a brand new building, and, we're going to put up the money for it. That's private sector building. You don't have anything like that around here. Now, you have the unions, the special interests, the laborers. They're saying, hey, to the politicians, you owe us. We got to put our people to work. Where's all the jobs? Well, there's no one that's looking to build a business because they've been chased away for an unfriendly business climate. So what's left? Well, tell you what, you're going to build a new high school. You're going to build a new police station. You're going to build a new library. That's not, Governor McKee says that's real economic. That's not economic development. That's not economic development is when companies are building these things, not taxpayers. It's completely backwards. Why are all these communities building all these brand new schools? I like in Warwick when they had the school committee meeting, one resident said, I just don't understand why we can't remodel the current. Because as I've told you, the real money is in the rebuild. The real money is when, we got to do the foundation and pour all the concrete and the base of it and the whole thing. So that's where the real coin comes in. That's where they can really jack up the price. So do we really need a lot of these places brand new and I know it sounds good and everyone likes to think my child's going to be going in a brand new school. Folks, it has no impact on test scores. Zero. As I've said, if I thought for 1 second that if you put children in a brand new school, that was going to boost up the test scores, absolutely, then do it. That there's no correlation at all. None. If anything, what you're hearing right now is we don't need all these public schools. And look at the scam that they have been running. It's nonstop scams, especially here where it's starting to be exposed. What has been the real priority? Think of what's going on right now. There's no money for the bridge. There's no guarantee that there's going to be any funding for this bridge. You have federal funding is being slowed down till they figure out what's actually necessary and what's a scam. For instance, all of these windmills offshore, all scams. All scams. The one of the leaders of the labor movement, his wife is part of this company, and we get all these government grants, and everybody's high paid. And what kind of company is that? They can't exist unless they get these, quote, government grants. That's not a business. That's not an economy. Wrong. Somebody's opening a restaurant in the next month. There's no government money to help them with that. They're going to have to earn it. They have to put their money down. Any business person out there that started that. Herb Chambers, whatever he wants to do with that 1.3 billion, that's his business. He's earned it. You know, that's a tough business to succeed in. Now, granted, I recognize the automobile industry at times, but not local dealers. But at times they've gotten bailouts and so forth. But it's not the same the way the scam goes locally. But so they're all freaked right now. I think there should be a clearer message that, and as I've tried to tell you, that's not when they chase away all of the companies, and they're unfriendly to companies. Look how Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee, well, we're going to find out what Hasbro, what the ask is. You know, that's a very derogatory way to talk to business leaders that started their business in the 401 area code. And, you know, they haven't been crazy about where they are in Pawtucket for some time. They were told they can't leave Pawtucket. No, you got to stay in Pawtucket. Well, they've decided, guess what? We're not staying in Pawtucket. As a matter of fact, we're not even staying in Rhode Island. We're going to move to the Seaport District of Boston, which is full of life, which is full of buildings, which is filled with, you know, skyscrapers, and people are moving there and companies are moving there. It's an era of excitement. Right now, what is lacking is we don't have a voice that is in lockstep with what's going on nationally. And as much as people will pay attention a lot to what's going on with the war with Ukraine and Russia, but what should not be missed is, I mean, I think it is fair. President Trump has actually instituted a tariff war. And we are at war economically, as we talk about with Donna Perry, with China. And they are our enemy. And, you know, former Governor Raimondo, Commerce Secretary, going over there and playing nice and saying, you know, I didn't like that you hacked into my email. What kind of conversation is that? What do you think the Chinese leaders thought of Raimondo? What do you think they thought of Biden? Wrong. We are at war with them. And it's about trying to conquer them, but it's not conquer them with a military army. It's conquer them with the way that we do business with the world. Make no mistake about it. President Trump, folks, he is laser focused on, we're going to lower our debt. You lower your debt, a lot of good things can happen. America should have more access to money. Americans should not have to pay so much in taxes. Less spending, lower the debt, other countries paying their fair share. You have a richer nation. A richer nation means better airports, better roads, Americans keeping more money. Then you can do better research. You can have better schools. All those things are possible, but not when you just keep putting up people that are trying to fight the administration at every turn and every cost. And that's what's going on right now. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Quality Asphalt Seal Coating. Call Corey today, 401-283-9815. 401-283-9815. Quality Asphalt Seal Coating. So what do? They will seal coat a driveway or a parking lot. They'll offer crack filling, pothole repair, line striping. They can make your pavement look like new. They can also keep your parking lot safe by fixing potholes and cracks. Make sure your lines are bright and direct traffic safely. They also do sports court resurfacing, pickleball, tennis, basketball. They'll epoxy garages, patios, decorative concrete flooring. Quality asphalt seal coating. Now remember, with line striping, this is, you want to make sure you're ADA compliant. The last thing you watch as there's a shortage of money, they're going to start going after private businesses, and they're going to say you don't have proper spaces and you don't have your lines done right and you don't have the proper handicap spaces, they can help you with that. Avoid fines from your different cities and towns that are going to start to, this whole thing with all the tickets in the school zones. It's all just a money grab. Folks, quality asphalt seal coating. Call Corey, free estimate 401-283-9815 for quality asphalt seal coating. Well, folks, good afternoon. Again, this is just 1 month in. And I think you have the different business leaders that recognize there's several factors. I think it's very unfair to judge this administration on the first month. Presidents normally are judged on the first at least 100 days. Let's see where we are in 4 years. And I'm so sick of hearing about the high price of eggs. They know that the Biden administration killed a bunch of chickens. I've never heard so many people concerned about the price of eggs. They certainly weren't concerned about it when Harris was running for president. Over the next several months, listen, you put in the right policies, prices will go down. The price of energy will go down. The price of gas will go down. Obviously, eggs, the price will go down. The price of everything will go down. You're going to have more money in your pocket. There's going to be more jobs and opportunity in America. But right now, what I hear and see from the Rhode Island and Massachusetts elected officials, remember, they're not leaders, elected officials. Folks, they're just trying to submarine and sink the new administration at every turn. And I strongly encourage you, listen, if you don't want to contact your congressman, you don't have to. No one's forcing you to. If you don't want to contact Governor McGreed or any of your state reps, you don't have to. But if you're going to do something like that, at least make it count. At least, like I said, it's useless. You may feel great. I sent an email to, Elon Musk and his company. That's a needle in a haystack. The odds that would happen are just so remote. The locals there needs to be pressure on the local elected officials. I think a good example of this is look at the demeanor of Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman. So whatever his political views were, Fetterman now. Same thing with the governor of Pennsylvania. They can't ignore that their state is a swing state. All of the Democrat officials that are in these battleground states, whether it's Arizona or Nevada or Pennsylvania or North Carolina or Georgia, when you have Democrats in those states, Wisconsin, Michigan, they can't ignore this administration because it's very clear who the people are supporting. When you had the governor of Michigan, Governor Whitmer, come out, I think she has a new book out, and she was on CBS and she said, I am, looking for common ground to work with this administration. Well, because of the way her state right now is voting, she has to take that attitude. Fetterman, President Trump won Pennsylvania. And when you have Elon Musk, who can bring the hammer down, it is nothing for them to peel off money and get someone a challenger. Folks, if Rhode Island could, and same thing with Mass, if Rhode Island and Massachusetts, but let's just talk about Rhode Island just for a moment. If Rhode Island started to move in the right direction and show some momentum and show that there was an infrastructure that wanted to change the system, in the blink of an eye, Elon Musk could set up a pact and say, I'm going to give $10 million for the Republican running for governor of Rhode Island. It absolutely could happen. And the same for a Republican to run against Magaziner, and the same for a Republican to run against Gabe Amo, if you're a Republican and you suddenly have, excuse me, 10 million to run for governor of Rhode Island, that is a game changer. Now, one thing though, it has to be the right candidate. And I want to be very clear. Ashley Kalis is not the right candidate. She's not. I covered her campaign. Nothing against her personally. She wasn't a good candidate. She didn't do well. The amount of money doesn't matter. I don't think she's the right person, but the right person, it could make a huge difference. All I'm saying is this is no path. The state right now is almost rudderless. At the Rhode Island State House, they haven't even gotten the memo. They're not even realizing that their form of government is not successful. This is no way to govern. And we are out of lockstep with these other states. Now, here's something else. Let's face it, the red states run far more efficiently. I was speaking with someone who goes back and forth between Rhode Island and Florida. And as you know, Florida is a much bigger state than Rhode Island, and it's a bigger state than Massachusetts. And they marvel at how well run a state Florida is compared to Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. And when you look at the way, and anyone that spends time, and there's a lot of people in our area that are down there right now, ask them, what is it like being down in Florida, trying to do things in Florida, trying to get a new license in Florida, trying to do anything in Florida compared to up here. Rhode Island to me is like but the poster boy, and Mass is kind of the same way for ineffective government. The way Rhode Island government operates needs to change. There's so many different examples of it, from the DOT, where there's no accountability. And I admit, I'm not saying they do everything wrong. For those of you that watch Road Patrol, and we'll see on tonight, it's still pretty freezing out. But anyhow, those that watch Road Patrol, we're out. I compliment DOT as far as, for instance, like the Route 10, the 610 connector. That is definitely better than it was. I don't know why it took so long. I don't know if it needed to cost as much as it costed, but I understand that they've improved a lot of roads, and they've definitely made some improvements. But what you're seeing on a national level that I like is accountability. You don't hear, as much as you're hearing a lot of crying and protesting over the different money that's being cut with like some of these agencies. But what you don't hear is anyone in those agencies trying to justify that the spending was worth it, trying to justify that, listen, that it was worth spending. Hold on one moment, folks. That it was worth spending. You don't hear anyone saying, listen, it was worth spending the $5 million to have that Guatemalan play right on transgender. You don't. All right, hold on one moment, folks. We've hit a small technical problem with the radio portion. Everybody else, it's on. I think this should be okay. Okay, it's on their end. I apologize, everybody. It's on the whatever was done on that end. So I'm going to try it one more time, but it is no, it's on their end. All right, hold on one moment, everybody. It's on their end. I apologize. I was just making a very good point as well. Let me try this, and it's on. I don't have to keep saying that, but my ability to straighten it out is very, very limited. Yeah. Nope. All right. Hold on. I apologize, everyone. It's not It's on their end. But let me just, I'm going to send them this, and then we can move along with the program. So somebody hit something, and I'm not exactly sure what it was. And I'm not sure somebody hit something. So I'm going to try again. And then we're just going to try to continue in this manner. But no, it's on their end. Okay. All right. I believe they'll be able to pick up the feed from our Facebook page. So, and then we will go from there. But somebody inadvertently hit something. So I understand. Again, if you're watching video, I'm sure you're thinking, I don't know what he's talking about. You sound fine, and the audio and everything's fine, but it's just not timing out. We use a different device for the audio portion, but they have a problem on their end. So we're going to continue, and ideally, they will pick up this audio at 154 because I want everyone listening and watching to know about Arch Design Builders. Arch Design Builders, folks, call and set up that free consultation, 401 207 4124. 401 207 4124. Arch Design Builders. Now remember, it all starts with a conversation, and by calling them, you're going to deal with the dream team. You're going to deal with Ed and Roxanne, and this is about setting up a free consultation. Let them look at the space. Let's have a free consultation and conversation on what it is that you're looking to accomplish. And maybe it is a matter of you're looking for a new kitchen, or maybe a new bathroom, or a deck, or a basement, whatever special project. Arch Design Builders. Call them today, 401 207 4124. 401 207 4124. Arch Design Builders. Whatever it may be, residential or commercial. Now, listen, if you're going to take the time and effort to have something like this done on your home or business, you want to make sure you're dealing with quality individuals that are going to deliver quality work. You're going to discover the Arch difference. Arch Design Builders, 401 218 9707. 401 218 9707 for Arch Design Builders. Now, I also share their Facebook and their Instagram page, and it is really a work of art when you see what your space could actually look like. Arch Design Builders. Folks, again, call them. It all starts with that free consultation. Arch Design Builders. Well, folks, good afternoon. Now, listen, I think what we are in the midst of, and it's only been 1 month, but I just think we're going to continue to hear of different I think we're going to start to hear different organizations, and it's going to be almost like nonstop local media coverage of, this nonprofit is suddenly, doesn't have money, and this nonprofit doesn't have money. You have to ask, I've heard, and it was Governor McKee that one of his early briefings, I'm not afraid to give him credit. He was being asked by Uncle Atheist about, there's talk that this program is going to be cut from the budget. And I want to give Governor at the time McKee credit. He said, well, now listen, what you're saying is being cut from the budget. That was a grant they got. It was for whatever it was, 3 to 5 years. The grant has run out, so we're just ending the program. Folks, so many of these situations, it's it's not budgeted. It's, to me, it's kind of a scam that they get the grant, and then the way they operate, the grant never ends. So suddenly now it's supposed to be permanent and part of the process and part of the budget. And I think if you want to make some of this stuff a priority, then it behooves you, then make the argument and make the case that this is something that should permanently be in the budget. You don't just say, oh, it's like, to me, it's disingenuous where they say, oh, it's just a grant, but their intention is that the grant never ends. So therefore, it just continues to be fueled that way. And you're seeing it right now with a lot of the money that's being exposed, whether it's for Crossroads or some of these other organizations, and some of these, even some of these colleges that say, well, we're depending on whatever. We're supposed to be getting a $50 million grant. And these are wealthy universities that have billions in their endowment. Why is it that they have to get $50 million in taxpayer money when it's something that they could easily just fund, let alone they already enjoy a nonprofit status? So, folks, listen, if you're listening to the radio, stay tuned. Coming up at 2 o'clock, you're going to hear the 2 o'clock news. As far as that with Road Patrol, we're going to wait and see on the weather. But definitely check out the website. Very good possibility we're going to see you later on for Road Patrol Live. Enjoy this Wednesday.